All right, so today we're going deep on something I think a lot of us use every day.
Headphones.
Headphones and speakers.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I was actually thinking about this right before we started recording.
Okay.
These things have become such a part of our lives
Mhm.
that it's easy to forget just how much they've evolved.
Yeah, you don't really
You don't think about it until you don't have them.
exactly.
Yeah.
Um, and so we've got a great source for this deep dive: Audio Innovations Unplugged, the evolution of headphones and speakers.
Love that title.
Yeah, I thought it was really catchy too.
Yeah,
And I think what we really want to do today is try to extract the most interesting and relevant insights from it.
for sure.
For our listeners, whether they're audiophiles or just casual listeners, I think there's something in here for everyone.
Definitely. I think just understanding the journey of how we got from, those
Right.
big clunky headphones to what we have today is pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
It is. And the article I think does a great job of sort of painting that picture right from the start.
Yeah.
Talking about those bulky headphones of the 1970s
Mhm.
and contrasting them with the sleek wireless earbuds that we see everywhere now.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's not just about aesthetics.
Right.
The technology underneath has advanced so much.
Absolutely.
Um, you know, Obviously the shift from wired to wireless has been huge.
Absolutely.
And that's thanks in large part to advancements in Bluetooth technology.
Yeah, it's amazing to think that something as small as an earbud can pack in, noise cancellation
Right.
and even AI for personalized sound.
Yeah, the AI integration is really interesting because it's allowing for things like real-time translation in some cases.
Wow.
Adjusting the sound based on your environment.
Really?
It's pretty incredible.
That is wild.
Yeah.
But I think, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, we should probably talk about some of the key figures who really kind of laid the groundwork for all of this.
Yeah, definitely.
The article mentions Amar Bose,
Of course.
the founder of Bose Corporation.
Yeah.
And his work in noise cancellation technology was revolutionary.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what's really interesting about Bose is that he didn't just approach it from a purely engineering standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
He really delved into psychoacoustics,
Psychoacoustics.
which is basically the study of how we perceive sound.
Oh, wow.
So he was really trying to understand not just how to block noise, but how to create a truly pleasant listening experience.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And we can't forget John C. Koss either,
Like
right?
the first stereo headphones?
Yes.
I mean, that was a game changer.
Huge.
Suddenly you could experience music in a whole new way.
Totally. And it's amazing to think that their innovations, from so long ago are still influencing the headphones and speakers that we use today.
Oh, absolutely. They really set the standard for what was possible.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of standards, the article then kind of jumps ahead to the arrival of smart speakers.
Okay.
And specifically mentions the Amazon Echo in 2014.
Yeah, the Echo was really kind of the first mainstream smart speaker.
Right.
And I think it really changed the game because suddenly you had a device that could not only play music, but also act as a virtual assistant.
A virtual assistant.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. You could ask it to play a specific song, set alarms, get the weather,
That's true.
all with just your voice.
It's almost like we take that for granted now.
We totally do.
This is a huge shift.
It was. And beyond the convenience factor,
Yeah.
that integration of voice recognition technology had some really important implications for accessibility.
Oh, right.
For people with disabilities who might have difficulty using traditional interfaces.
Mm-hmm.
Voice control opened up a whole new world of possibilities.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
So, we've talked about the evolution of these devices,
Mm-hmm.
but the article also offers some really practical advice for anyone who's maybe thinking about buying new headphones or speakers. And it starts by saying that you really need to consider your intended use.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Are you a professional musician who needs studio quality sound?
Right.
Or are you just looking for something to listen to podcasts on your commute?
Exactly, because those are very different needs.
Totally.
And then, of course, you have to think about factors like sound quality, battery life,
Mm-hmm.
additional features like noise cancellation or voice assistant compatibility.
Yeah, and it can get overwhelming
It can.
because there's so many options out there now.
There are. But the good news is you don't always have to go for the most expensive option.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's some amazing mid-range gadgets that offer excellent value for the price.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know about you, but I always love when these deep dives unearth some really interesting trivia.
Oh, me too.
And this one did not disappoint.
Okay.
Did you read about the largest pair of headphones ever made?
I did. They were like 10 feet tall, right?
Nearly 10 feet tall. And they could apparently fit a small car inside.
That's wild.
It is wild.
Yeah.
And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, you've got the world's most expensive headphones,
Eh?
the Focal Utopia by Tornair,
Hmm?
which are encrusted with diamonds and cost nearly $120,000.
Wow, that's more than a car.
It is more than a car.
Yeah.
But I think what's interesting about that is that it shows, how headphones and speakers have become more than just functional devices.
Right. They can be seen as luxury items, works of art even.
Almost like jewelry.
Exactly.
And I think the article makes a really important point at the end, which is that these innovations, they've done more than just enhance our listening experiences. They've really fundamentally changed how we interact with technology.
Absolutely. We're moving towards a world where these devices are becoming more and more integrated into our daily lives.
Right.
And I think that trend is only going to continue.
It is. And it makes you wonder, what the next big breakthrough will be.
That's what's next.
Yeah, because the pace of innovation in this field is just incredible.
It really is.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with a thought.
Yeah.
As audio technology becomes even more sophisticated and personalized, how might it reshape your own personal experiences and daily routines in ways that we haven't even imagined yet?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Thanks for joining us on this exploration of the evolution of sound.
It was fun.
I always love talking about this stuff.
You too.
Okay, until next time.
See ya.
Bye.